Hello friends, I'm still continuing with my string manipulation programs. Before I start this video, I would like to tell you one thing. I have seen that in many interviews, these kind of questions that have been asked just to check your logical sense, and for that reason string can play a very crucial role. So if you go through this particular programs which I will be demonstrating, I am very confident that you can get over this particular round. So let's move on. So I'm still with my day 1, and that is part 6 of string manipulation part. So what I have got today, last day we saw the following different type of string handling operations, and using these functionalities I have created these few programs. So first I would be trying to check how do I reverse a string. So this particular segment will show me how I can reverse a particular sentence. So let me run the program now, and as I do that, it asks me to enter a sentence. So let's consider I'm taking a sentence like Python is fun. So Python is fun. What I want to do is that I want to reverse this entire thing. I hit the enter, and you can see, okay, just a second, the last portion, I believe one of my segment is still active. Yeah, for that reason this extra list is coming. Let me comment this portion so that we don't have any problem. Let me wipe off and let me run the program once again, and let me give the same string just for our better understanding. Python is fun. It's really fun. I hit the enter. Yes, now we have a reverse of it. So each word got reversed. So this is the reverse form of the word Python is and fun. So how did I achieve this? Let's get into it. So I took the input from the user. The input is inside this particular reference, which is of type string. And if you have noticed, you will find that I always prefer to write the data type, even though type inference feature of Python is very much popular. But still I prefer to write the data type because that would give me a clear understanding what is happening inside the memory. Okay, what type of references are getting created. So for better understanding, it is always preferable that you mention the data type of the reference which you are creating. So I took the input from the user, I stored it inside a string reference, and now what I did is I gave a call to the system defined function called split. So what split will do over the string is that it is going to split each of this word, like Python, this word will be splitted and will assign to one of the index, and ultimately it will generate a list. So when it is splitting a word on basis of a space over here, so space is working as a delimiter. So with the help of space, it will understand that where exactly the word ends. So that means Python followed by a space, this would be considered as one single word, and that what going to be assigned inside a list at a particular index. Same goes for is, and finally for fun as well. So at the end we will have a list, and that list I have given a name called words. So for that reason I have mentioned the data type over here as list type. Okay, great. And now let's look at this particular portion. Trust me, very often you will come across this kind of statement, and often for a newcomer there is some issue in understanding the flow of control. So what is this line all about? Well, if you notice at the outer level there is a third bracket. So over here third bracket close, third bracket ends, and third bracket would represent what? That is called list. Yes, this is a list representation, but terminology technically we call it as a list comprehension. Okay, so please remember that this denote list comprehension. So apart from list comprehension, we have got dictionary comprehension as well as we have got set comprehension. So these comprehensions are also there, so you can check out those things. Fine. Yes, even generated expression is also there, that also does work under this kind of comprehension. So now let's move on how it is working. So when you will start reading this line, you should start from the for loop. So let's start from here. Remember, this word is actually a list. So what this particular for loop is doing, Well, before I explain that, we have an in keyword, and if you remember from our last program, in was used for performing membership check, right? So over here we were using the in keyword. Yes, the same in keyword is been used over here as well, but this time it is not doing any kind of membership check, rather it is used for iteration purpose. So from this words, that is a list like this one, it will pick up, it has got all the three words, right? So it will pick up the first index word, that is Python, and it will store in the representation of a string as W over here. So inside the W, the word Python is going to be stored. Now once you store the Python, then it will come to this particular segment, and if you remember, we are doing slicing. If you remember the slicing part, I told you on the other day, the slicing has got three segments. One is, it has got a starting segment. Where did I write that? I wrote it somewhere. A starting segment, ending segment. Well, yeah, it actually has got three segments. That has got a start. So if you notice over here, it has a start, it has an end, and there's an incrementation. Yeah, I'm talking about this line. So it has a start, it has an end, and it has an incrementation, the step value. So that's how the slicing actually works. And since I did not mention any start, I did not mention the end, but I have mentioned the increment, and that is in the negative form. So by default, it would be positive incrementation, then it will move from left to right. But since I have mentioned explicitly over here that the incrementation, basically it's not incrementation, it's decrementation. So decrementation will be in the negative, so that means it will start from the end and move toward this 0th index. Okay, so that's how the slicing is going to work right over here. And after it has done the slicing, it will get this particular Python word in a reverse order that will be inserted inside this reverse word list. And the benefit of list comprehension is that each word or each reverse word will be appended inside this particular list, and that will be done to the help of list comprehension. So when you're talking about list comprehension, you will be having one iterator over here which will iterate over each of the word that is present inside the list, and finally we will get a list with the reverse form of word. Usually we don't write our loop like this way, but this is more like we're writing an inline loop. In one single line you are doing both the operations. It is more compact way of doing it, and in fact it is very professional as well. So this is often a question that we'll ask in the interview. So after you got this, these are like a word at a different index. So this would be a 0 index, then it will be at 1, this is 1 will be 2, but I want to show them in one particular statement rather than showing it in the form of a list. So split created a list from a given sentence, and join will do the reverse. So join will connect these indexes and will transform it into one single sentence, and thereafter we are printing that. And because of that reason, you are not seeing the data in index format of a list, rather you are seeing it in a form of a sentence. And that's how the sentence has been shown back to us. Isn't it a smart work? Right. So this is how we can convert a string into a reverse format. Okay, great. So let's move to the next program now. So what is this? The next program is again same thing, but the approach will be different. So here also I'm going to do the reverse of a sentence, but this time I'm not using the list comprehension. So what I'm doing over here, just like the previously, I took the input from the user. So let me run the program again, and I will be taking some of the word, that is Swaroop is a freak. How about this line? So I have taken the sentence and I have kept it inside this text. Here also I will go for split, and I will be getting a list. Great. So this would be a 0 index, 1, 2, 3. So there are total 4 words, right? And that got stored inside this word list. And I have created one new variable, reverse text in the string format. So now I'm just going for iteration. So I picked up this from the list. At every index I will be having one word. So I picked up the very first word, that is called Swaroop, and I stored inside this variable word. If you notice, this is a plural, this is singular. And then what I'm doing, I am going for again the same slicing, and this again the negative inverts, in the negative form of doing it. And once I do that, I will append one space at the end, and finally each word I will be getting along with the newly created negative word, I will put it inside the reverse. So this process will go on till I am not left with any other word in my list, and finally I will print the list. So if you notice over here, I have gone for strip because at the end there will be the last word will have a space at the end, which I don't want to keep it. So for that reason I have gone for strip, so that this extra space that will be inserted after the last word should be removed off. And now let's run me the code over here. As I do that, I get exact representation of the reverse. So this is the reverse form, this is, and all the 4 word got reversed successfully. Okay, so this is again the same program but without using the list comprehension. I think it is helping you to understand how these programs are working, right? Okay, so now this is a very frequently been asked question. Find out how many vowels and consonants are there in a given sentence. Very common program that you will come across, and I believe you can well understand what I have done over here. So let me take my name as a word. So the moment I will hit the enter, the word will go into the text. I have created a couple of variables for vowel and assigned them 0, consonant assign them 0, and over here also I have mentioned the data type. Please, I will tell you, for your initial understanding of Python, preferably you use data type that will make you aware about what type of representation happening inside the memory. Now here again I am performing iteration from this text. It will pick up one word and it will store right inside this. So it will pick up one by one each of the so what is happening over here? Is it picking up words? No, it's not picking up word. This is not a list form, this is a complete string form, right? In my previous cases what I did, I have gone for split. The split was having words, so in each index of my list the words were there, but that is not what I'm doing. I'm working directly with this particular sentence or this particular word, right? So it is not getting inside any list. It's just a variable of string representation. And if you remember, in my last video I talked about that the string variables are actually stored inside the heap. The address of the object gets stored inside the reference variable that is present inside the stack memory. If you still unable to follow what I am saying, please go and check my previous video. Okay, so here I will be picking up each character. So the letter S will come and get stored inside this variable called char. You are free to choose whatever name you feel like. Just because I'm working on a single character, that's the reason I gave the name as char. And now what I will be doing, I will be doing the membership check. You remember, membership check was right even in my last video as well. Over here I was doing a membership check. So that's what I'm going to check. So I'm going to check that the character which I picked up, that is the letter S, well, I converted that in lowercase so that all the characters are of same keys. And is that character belong to any of these letter which is actually present within a string format, right, wrapped within the single quote, so it is basically a string. And any of these character, I mean the character which is over here, does match with any of the letter that is present in indexing. And if you have seen my video, last video, you will find that each of these characters are present in each index. There will be allocated index where the string will be getting stored. So that's how the membership is working. Like for example, S does not belongs to this, so it will come to Aleph part, and it is an alphabet undoubtedly, so the consonant will be incremented by 1. Then it will move up once again, it will pick up W, and W will not match with this one. Again the consonant will be updated to 2, and then it will come to the letter A. Yes, A does match with this one, and it will be incrementing the variable vowel. In that will go on until it encounter U. U does match with the string, and that will increment my vowel. And then finally, when there will be no more character left after P, it will terminate from the loop, and finally we are going to see the number of vowels and consonants. So let me hit the enter. As I do that, you get to see the number of vowel is 2 and the consonant is 4, right? So it rightly worked out with this particular program that how exactly we are performing loop as well as a decision making that is happening where we are checking each character that is present inside the given string, right? Okay, great. So now we come to another very common program that we often ask, that is called Palindrome. Yes, this is also a very popular program, Palindrome. And just see if you have to do Palindrome in C or in Java. so many line of code we have to write. So really Python is fun, right? So here I will take the input from the user, like for example I'm taking an input like for example madam. So madam is a palindrome, right? So I have got this string inside the text variable, and then what I'm doing, I'm again going for the reverse word. So we have already seen previously how to do the reverse. Right over here we saw that how to do the reverse form over here, and the same approach I'm following. So once I do the reverse, I will be getting a new string in the reverse form, and if that content does match with this one, definitely there's a palindrome. So I hit the enter and it does match. Okay, my previous program is also working. That's the reason we saw the output. So let me comment this one. Yes, and now if you see, okay, let me run once again. So I right over here, suppose madam, and I hit the enter. Yes, the word madam is actually a palindrome. Okay, so this is a palindrome string. Great, right? But what if I give another string which is not a palindrome? So let's for example I give my name. My name is not a palindrome, so of course the output will be in the else part. Yes, it is not a palindrome, right? Similarly, if I give another word like dad, that is a palindrome. So if I give this, yes, it's a palindrome. So what we saw from this is that how the reverse form is helping us to do a match in one single statement. Isn't it cool? Okay, so that's how we did the checking of a palindrome string. Now let's move on to another program which is also very popular, that you have been asked to give a string as a input. So let me give a string as an input. Like for example, if I'm writing SWAR, instead of writing U, I'm going with double OP. Okay, so I just reframe my name, and now what I have been asked to do is that I have to find out the character which are there only once, or I would be saying in this way that find out the unique characters. So what are the unique characters? Apart from double O, that means O, rest of all the characters are unique. So how do you do that? And that is what this program is all about. So what I have done is over here I have created a new empty list which will be holding all my characters that are unique. So I picked up again the same, and you can see over here this is again individual iteration, will pick up individual letters and will store inside this char, and then I'm just going to count that char. So inside this, suppose the letter S is there, so I'm going to count how many occurrence of S is present inside the word text. Is it equal to 1? Yes, S is equal to 1. In that case, S will be appended inside my list. Great. Again it will move up and it will pick up the letter W inside the CH, and I will check how many occurrence of W is present inside the text. Is it equal to 1? Yes, that also will be appended. In this way it will go on until it encounter O. So when O comes over here and we are checking how many occurrence of O is there, it is not 1, it is 2. In that case O will not be appended inside my list, and at the end we will see all the character except O. See, you are seeing a list with all the characters except O, right? So that's how this is working. Great. And if you notice over here, I did not use the join. If I would have gone for join, then this would have joined it, but I did not do that, so it's still showing in the representation of a list. Okay, so you can now figure out that how exactly you can perform an iteration at the same time a decision making, and will come across this kind of beautiful programs. Okay, so we did the checking of unique character inside a string. The same program again I will extend, but this time I'm going to follow the smaller approach, and that is called list comprehension. So now let's do a comparison between how the previous program did not make use of list comprehension, so for that reason you have to write so many lines of code. But when you implement the smarter way of doing it, it's just a single line. Okay, so let's try to understand how exactly it is working. So if you notice over here, the first thing that is working is the iteration part. Here's the same thing. I have my iteration. So from my text, which hold my name as an input, so let me run the code over here. So I'm giving my name again as input. So this text hold my name, so it is picking up one single character from the text according to this. This was the first line. After it picked up, it passed on to the decision making statement. So exactly after executing this, it will come right over here to check how many occurrences of that particular word is there. And if it is equal to 1, like in case of S, W, A, R, it will be all one occurrence. Along with P, those will be each character. Like first time it is working with S, so it is a one occurrence, so S will come right over here, and the list comprehension will append S inside the new list, that is called unique characters. In the same way, W will be also appended, A will also appended, R will be appended, but O will not be appended inside this list, and the P will also be appended. And finally you will be seeing without O, you are seeing the output. So this is a smart way of implementing list comprehension. Remember, the for loop will work, as you can see right over here. If after picking up each character or single character, it will come to the decision making statement, then the if part will work, and if it is returning 1, then only that character will be added in the list comprehension. Okay, great. So that's how this is going to store the data. Okay, so far so good, right? And now finally we come to the same program, but in a very smart way we will be doing, and that is using another data type along with list, which we have done previously. This time we are introducing set, and we all know that set is going to hold unique characters. It will not have any duplicate characters. So again, if I write SWAR, okay, instead of writing U, I will go for double OP. You will see very interesting. So it received the data from this string, and we went for a typecasting, and after typecasting it will take hold of only those characters which are unique, and it will store inside this set. So previously I was working on list, and set is going to hold the unique characters. Set will have unique characters only, list will have duplicate character even, but after we did this entire list comprehension, it was holding the unique characters. But there is a small change in the previous program with that of this one. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me uncomment this portion also, and I will show you what is the difference between this approach and this approach, and you will be surprised. I know many people already started guessing, but still I will be going with this one and see the output. Yes, this one is exact representation of the sequence in which I have inserted these characters. Only the redundant or duplicate character has been removed. But what about set? Set is represented by list is represented by third bracket, set is represented by curly braces. That is the first difference. Second difference, insertion order of the characters are not maintained. See, I initiated S as an initial character, but it came as a second, followed by P, which was supposed to be the last character. P came up over here. So that means each time I will run the program, the order in which the insertion is taking place, that will not be maintained. Okay, there is no such hard and fast rule that it will maintain this. See, this time the order got changed, this time the order is not the same. Okay, and here what you are saying is that it picked up O, but it is just having only one occurrence of O. In the previous program, O was not there at all, but in case of writing this program using the set, we have got O, but the redundant part of O has been removed. And from this particular program, there are a few points that got clear. First, the list will always be represented in third bracket, a set will always be in curly braces. Point number 1. Number 2, a list can have a redundant value, although I have gone for list compression over here. That's the reason you are not saying O. Otherwise, that O would have been twice over here. By default, list will hold the duplicate data, but set is not going to do that. It will have all the character, but in you will not be able to see the redundant characters, so it will just have only one copy of the character. And last but not the least, which is very important, the insertion order is maintained in the list, which is not actually maintained in the set. So each time you run this program, the character ordering, you will find it's not been maintained. So this is something which is very important. Hence what we will find over here, that is, when you work on set, be careful, it will be in the form of unorder. The order will not be maintained. So do remember this one, and because of this reason why many times in interview these kind of question has been asked, to check whether you are familiar with the differences between the data type that is present in Python, right? I believe this particular program will help you to understand how exactly you can go for string manipulation. Along with that, the inside story of list, set and comprehension, these are all been discussed in this video. Okay, so stay tuned and see you in the next video. Until then, have a nice time. Bye bye.